again and welcome to Let Me Be the One Radio Show podcast, and this is the second episode, but it's of the first show. I'll explain more later. Of course, I'm Martin. I'm the Let Me Be the One blog writer, Let Me Be the One radio show presenter, and this is a podcast. It's had an introductory episode that explained a bit more about why I was setting it up and what would be entailed about everything about it. Just to remind you, the podcast is available in Podbeam, Spotify, Stitcher, and also the general apps such as Podcast Addict. That's the one. That's the one I use on my phone. So I got 4. Can't work out how it gets onto Google. It might get there by osmosis. I don't know. But I think there's plenty to start off with anyway. So as I say, that's where it is. The podcast is going to be linked mainly to the radio shows that I've done so far. I've done 51 of them so far. 52 is on Tuesday, on the 6th of August, and that's my first year anniversary. So it's going to take a little while to catch up. I plan to try and do a couple of these a week, but we'll see how it goes. But we're going to go back all the way to show 1, which was on the 7th of August, and hopefully you'll enjoy the listen. Now, I can't just put it here for you to click play and for you to listen. That's a no-no, because the way that the artists get paid through our radio station is through Mixcloud. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to link you to Mixcloud. Now, I'll give you the link straight away. I've done a bit.ly reference, which will make it a lot easier for you. It's bit.ly/LMBTO show 1, and that 1 is in the number 1. And if you type that in, that will take you directly to the relevant Mixcloud page where show 1 is, and that's 54 minutes of my first show. You'll see it, and it's got Emily de Forest in the picture, a picture I took at Amsterdam Calling in 2018. It's on the BSR Listen Again page, which is the Bradley Stoke Radio page. So that's where it is. I thought I'd give you that there. Basically, the long version, I'm going to put all these in the Mixcloud bit, typed it out so you can actually link to it anyway. But the Mixcloud is mixcloud.com/Bradley Stoke Radio / and this is it's Let Me Be the One, and they've all got hyphens between them, then -1 -79th -August -2018. You can see why I gave you the bit.ly reference, because it's so much easier. Remember, bit.ly/LMBTO show number 1. So you can get that, you'll go straight there. But I'm having to do that, so you're not going to hear any music apart from what you hear at the beginning and the end, which is a royalty-free version of Charpentier's TDM Prelude, which is obviously you recognise as the Eurovision music, and I've paid for that. Strictly speaking, you'll see lots of things all around where people put little snippets of songs in and they'll go, oh, it's alright because I'm just commenting on them. Strictly speaking, it's not. Strictly speaking, I've did some law. Strictly speaking, you could still get hammered by sort of somebody, a solicitor, saying, oh, you shouldn't be using that in your podcast. So I'm going to make it nice and easy. There won't be any music, but you don't have to listen to me waffle on for ages. But what I will do is I will go through, give you a bit of an explanation behind show 1. Now, this was right at the beginning, almost a year ago. I joined Bradley Stoke Radio as a member. I'd been previously a Eurovision guest on a show run by a chap called Chaz, who has a classical music show, but every year he has a couple of shows before Eurovision so that he gets people together. We did at that time so that we would all listen to the songs that were going to be on, and we would sort of give them a score and a position just based on what they sounded like, not how they looked, just what they sounded like. So obviously 2015 was the first one I did, and some of that relates to some of the songs on this first show, and we decided that based purely on vocals that Polina Gagarina and A Million Voices was the winning song for us. And I think that probably makes sense. Obviously, she was up against Il Volo and Grand Amore and Miles Zelmerlov, but his win was just as much down to his stage charisma and obviously the interaction with the animations, which were absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's how I started. And then I got a radio show, and I was looking back at the blog post that I did about it, and I reminded myself that I had training on the 30th of July. 2nd of August I went in and did a practice run. The chairman thought it was so good, or good enough, that he put it on the week after. So within a week, or just over a week, I had a radio show set up, and I've been doing it ever since. 2018, it was only for an hour. 2019, since the beginning of 2019, it's been 2 hours, and I've also been live then. Most of the 2018 shows were pre-recorded, and I'd go in on another day and I'd pre-record them. So they're also very heavily scripted in the early days, because obviously you don't want to muck anything up. They're not as scripted now. I do still do a lot of notes, but they're not as if I do notes, I use my own words using the information in front of me, but it makes it a lot easier for me. But you might notice a difference between then and now as to my presenting style, hopefully. But have a listen to, go through. I think you'll enjoy listening to them. But in show one, we started off with Netta and Toy. I thought it's the only way to go, seeing that she was the current winner of Eurovision, and I think that's a really good way of starting the show. I then wanted to show going back to 1956, so I played Lisa Sear with Refrain. Because this is a show for the community, I thought I'd pander to the community as well as the Eurovision fans, so I put some more recognisable tunes. So obviously, what's the most recognisable Eurovision tune to everybody who doesn't really know anything about Eurovision? ABBA, Waterloo. That was next. Then I wanted to demonstrate a difference in genres from one extreme to the other. So you had Il Volo and Grand Amore, and then you had PKN and Anna Mun Pita. So totally different styles, just to prove that Eurovision is not just about men riding around on unicycles and comical things. It's actual proper music. Then we go into playing a UK entry. I thought, why not go for the last UK winner? So Katrina and the Waves, Love Shine a Light. Then we played Polina Gagarina, A Million Voices. And then from 2015 we went to 1975, and obviously that's a big year for me, because that was the first Eurovision I actually ever watched, and that's when it all started, and that was in the Netherlands in 1975, and Teaching were not only the winners that year, but the first song. So Teaching and Ding a Dong was on the first radio show as well. Next I decided to play the reason why I got into blogging and all the madness started, and that was Emily de Forest with Only Teardrops. 2013 winner. The reason I started blogging, because I found that there was lots of cliques out in Eurovision land, still is. So therefore I thought it's easy to write my own stuff. I'd written blogs for other things before, thought I'd give it a go, and it's worked successfully enough that I'm still going 6 years later. And Emily de Forest was the reason why I started the blog, and for that I'll be grateful to her, and I've seen her plenty of times, spoken to her a few times as well. I then thought I was finishing the show with the song that you've probably heard quite a lot on my show, which is often an outro, which is Let Me Be the One, obviously by The Shadows, second place in 1975, UK entry, and it's become my outro tune. So if we get to the end of the show and I haven't got enough time to play a whole song, out comes The Shadows, then it goes into the news jingle, end of the show. But I play it in its full amount every so often, and it's a great tune, and I know all the words now. So yeah, I then at the end of show one filled in, because I I'd realised that I had gone a bit quick, and I'd been told by another presenter, always make sure you got one more song on your memory stick than you actually need, and this is the reason why. So I played my favourite ever Eurovision track, which is Marie Miriam, Le Saut à la Fin, and from 1977, the winner, last French winner, and it's my favourite song. I've written a blog article about it. I've played it numerous times. I absolutely love it, and it will appear fairly frequently over the course of the show as it goes on year after year, hopefully. I then completed the show with what I thought I was going to make into my outro tune, which is Charpentier's Te Diem Prelude, but in the end I thought, no, I'll go with the Shadows. So that's the reason why we've got that as it is, and that's what was in show 1, and a little brief bit reason why I chose what I did. It will be expanded when you listen to the radio show. So if you've never heard my first ever radio show, broadcast on the 7th of August 2018, then by all means have a listen, have a look on this podcast, the bump that goes with it. There'll be a link there to go directly to it. As I say, if you want to just put it into your web browser, probably the quickest way is bit.ly/LMBTO show and then the number 1 all together, and that will give you the first episode of Let Me Be the One. And as long as you've got it's Mixcloud and it's by BSR Listen Again, and it's got Emily DeForest singing into a microphone, in a hand outstretched, you've got the right show, and you can listen to that again, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little podcast and a bit of an explanation for each of the shows, and it's going to not last very long, although it's already reached 12 minutes, and I'll just do the same again for the next episode. So hopefully you'll enjoy listening to that, and hopefully you'll come back for more for episode 2. If you want to speak to me on Facebook or Twitter, then they're both the same nom de plume, or Addy, whatever you want to call it, and basically you really use the same thing every time. It's at LMBTO Eurovision for Twitter, and it's just, you could in Facebook, you could just type up Let Me Be the One, and you'll come up with the same thing, or you could type just LMBTO Eurovision after facebook.com, and you'll come up with my Facebook page for everything to do with Let Me Be the One. Comes up with Let Me Be the One Eurovision Through the Ages, because officially that's what the blog's called. That's basically it. I could give you the Instagram that I have, but it won't really relate to this because it's all pictures, not words. But that's LMBTO _Eurovision, and then you'll see lots of pictures of Eurovision stars and me with Eurovision stars and some grommets. Have a look at the pictures, you'll understand what I mean. So there you go. Hopefully I've given you enough information about the first show of Let Me Be the One. I would love to play music with it, but as I say, a bit limited by my radio station and by the common law of England and Wales. So join me again and hopefully enjoy the first show of Let Me Be the One from almost a year ago. Goodbye and speak to you soon.